Today we are going to do why of consciousness. That is to ask, why did we come to have this consciousness, this meanness? Okay. It's a very important question. We discussed that consciousness is coordination of personalized data. Okay. So let us explore how actually this coordination is taking place and how the coordination is producing this consciousness. Okay. Now let us look at one very simple thing of a scooter. Let us take one very simple thing, scooter. Okay. What is meant by coordination of a scooter? There is a wheel. Wheel 1, wheel 2. Okay, wheel 1, wheel 2 are there. Okay. Then where is the coordination system? Coordination system is at hands. You apply a brake, then it stops. Okay. You apply accelerator, then speed increases. Then you give direction. Then wheel direction changes. It means there are certain things placed which are accessible to hands, but that control the wheels. Isn't it so? Be it a gear, speed, acceleration. So this is how a scooter is coordinated. Is this clear? We can say something like A is coordinated through this. Wheel coordinated with something like this. So a simple thing called scooter has parts and ways of coordinating them. Coordination systems are concentrated. Parts are throughout the scooter. Very, very simple. But I am explaining it in detail because we are going to see how human body is coordinated. Okay. Human body is coordinated like this. Body parts. Many body parts. Okay. Then each body part our body function is represented in images here, A, B, C, D, E, like this. You can call them representations or images. Parts represented through images. And next, image is connected to the part. If you change A, this will be changed. If you change B, this will be changed. See, like this. It means manipulation of images is manipulation of body. It is like that. Okay, is this clear? Now let us see in more detail how this manipulation takes place. A represented here. Okay. Then something happens to A. Something happens to A. A becomes A dash. Something happens. Maybe something hit. Then what takes place is that, suppose A dash is something not good, then what happens is that many images are produced, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, like this. And then body will think that out of 6, A5 is the right image. And then using A5, this A dash will be changed. Let me explain that body is coordinated through its images. Images produced. And then image, a particular image selected. And then the actual body is changed. In scooter, there is nothing like production of these images. Gear changed, that's all. But here, some production, some finalizing, and then change. This is how body is coordinated. Is this clear? Now, this may look somewhat abstract. Now, let us see what this means. And do you know, now I am introducing one concept, that is, whose word is very, very familiar, mind. Do you know what mind is? Mind is nothing but manipulation of charged images. Charged neural images. This is the mind. A body part makes an image on neural structure, neural image. These images manipulated and then body coordinated. That is what mind is. So let me define mind. Mind is nothing but processing, manipulation of charged neural images. You understood what is an image, what is a neural, but charged neural image. What is meant by charged? The charged is something very, very, very important to the coordination system. These images are charged, positive or negative, like this. These images are not neutral. Images are charged with positivity or negativity, plus minus. Plus corresponding to pleasure and minus corresponding to pain. So, mind is none other than manipulation of charged neural images. That's what mind is. Okay. Which means, let us be very clear. Mind requires one, neural structure. Mind requires neural structure. Mind is not possible without neural structure. But note the point that neural structure is not brain. Brain is a part of neural structure. Brain is not equivalent to neural structure. Neural structure, at the end there is a brain. Neural structure is spread over. Spinal cord is a part of neural structure. So brain is part of neural structure. So you can't equate brain with mind. Brain is only a part of neural structure. So mind is much bigger than what the brain suggests. So mind bigger than brain because mind is related to neural structure. And second thing is, can this neural structure or mind exist without, can the mind exist without neural structure? No, it is impossible because mind is nothing but neural images. Next, can the mind exist without body? No, because neural structure is nothing but images of the body. Neural structure consists of images of the body. And the processing of those images is mind. So body, mind, neural structure are all interlinked processes. Brain is some kind of specialization within the neural structure. So this is how brain, mind are all interlinked. Okay. Now, till this, you may find it difficult to imagine what I am talking about. So now I will introduce something by which you can easily relate. Okay. Anyway, before that let me say that what mind does is not only images of body on the neural structure, but also it stores the images of outside world. So mind consists of outside world versus body, inside the body. Plus, so mind takes images of the world outside and images of the body, both. How does the mind get the images of the outside? Through senses. So, neural structures take maps of outside world also using the senses. So, senses are the mechanisms through which brain sees what is outside the body. Senses are the gateways, windows to the outside world. Okay, now As I said, how do you imagine these things? How do you relate to this very abstract thing? Now, let us examine the so-called thoughts. We normally equate mind with thoughts. When we say, what is your mind? We think in terms of thoughts. And what is a thought? Memory manipulation, memory processing. It is nothing but image processing, image manipulation. Isn't it so? So now think about what are thoughts. What are these thoughts? Images stored in the brain, manipulated. Okay. The difference between thought and other things is that thoughts are about outside world. Thoughts are not about functioning of liver, heartbeat, no. Thoughts are about the outside world. So it is like this, but the process is same. You are insulted. This is A. You are insulted and then outside world. This is outside world. A event. And then this event is stored as charged and image. Because it is an insult, it is a negative and image. So it has A. And then brain thinks of various alternatives, A1, A2, A3, A4. If this is about the inside body, then A2 might change. But because this is about the outside body, there is no correspondence between the image and the outside world. So you keep producing these thoughts. That's all. I am insulted, but how I could have avoided insult? How I would have got better treatment? What is it that I would have done? All kinds of things. So now coming to the whole thing. You equate mind with thoughts. Okay, but in actuality, mind is much more than thoughts. Mind is much more than thoughts. But what are these thoughts? Charged images and neural, processed. So processing of charged neural images or thoughts is the mind. Okay, so from examining the thoughts you can know how mind is working, but thoughts are only an insignificant part of the mind, because mind consists of huge lots of things. Mind is processing feet, liver, heart, so many other things, hands, insulin management. But mind is doing in the same way image creation, image manipulation, and through coordination and manipulation of images change the body. Heart is not pumping enough blood, make images, saturate heart. That is what mind is. Okay. but set right outside world, they are different. That is different. So part of this whole mind, thoughts, and it is of these thoughts we are conscious. The remaining thing is non-conscious. So what is the link between consciousness and mind? Consciousness enables us to be conscious of a small part of mind. That's all. Consciousness enables us to experience, feel a small part of the mind, that is thoughts. But the way the mind works is that the reality represented through images on the neural structure, they are charged, and charged neural images are constantly being processed to saturate the body. Okay, so most of it is non-conscious, some of it is conscious, but with little effort. Not all thoughts we are conscious of. With little effort, through analysis of dreams, through hypnosis, some thoughts also can be conscious. So we can call this conscious, we can call this unconscious, but can be conscious. But no amount of hypnosis and dream analysis can tell us how our heart is working, how our liver is working. No. So huge part of it is non-conscious. Small part of it is we can be conscious of it, and some part of it is we are already conscious of. So this is the relationship between mind, consciousness, unconscious, non-conscious, and all this is coordination system. So consciousness enables us to be aware of some part of coordination system being done by the mind. Okay. In actuality, how these things operate, we will examine by taking one example. Through that example, you can understand the relationship between conscious, non-conscious, and how the senses operate. Okay, I am taking an example to illustrate my point. I will take an example which I am going through now. Many things can be explained through this. See, normally I go for a walk in a particular way on the main road or onto the ground. But recently, because of this virus and lockdown, I started going in a completely new direction. I am going into fields, agricultural fields. So that is a less traveled road. So a few days ago, there are trees on both the sides, and I am going like this. I am walking like this. Trees on both the sides, and I am going like that. Then suddenly my body gave a jerk. Gave a jerk. I just didn't know. Then I realized that this jerk is fear. Which meant feeling and a name. Jerk is two things, feeling and name. Then I looked around and I just couldn't see anything. So I thought, maybe that's just my hallucination. There is nothing in reality. So let us look at this step. Jerk plus felt, feared. No idea. This is step number 1. Jerk took place before I felt. Feeling took place before I named. And then I thought, I couldn't make out, no idea. And this is how usually fear happens. First jerk, then we give a name. This is non-conscious. This is conscious. This is language. And this is cortex activity, reasoning. Is what it is. Non-conscious, conscious plus reasoning. This is what happens. In fact, Damasio calls this, there is an unusual word, calls this emotion, this feeling, this naming, this reasoning, emotion and feeling. He makes distinction between emotion and feelings. Emotions non-conscious, feelings conscious. Normally we don't make the distinction because we don't think of things which are not conscious. But he is making things explicit, non-conscious, conscious, named and reasoned. So that is my experience. Next, second time. I am coming back towards my home. Then around the same place, jerk took place. Shocked, felt, named. Then I worked. This cannot be hallucination. I suspected maybe one bird is simply trying to went like this, whereas I am here, bird is trying to. So bird is trying to go like this. But I suspect it. Now I know it cannot be hallucination. I only suspected because I didn't see the bird. Next day, this, I am sure there is a bird. Okay, I am sure. To continue the example, though it may not be relevant. So, in fact, few days ago I didn't want to go that side. I sat somewhere close to that place. And what shocked me is that even though I didn't go to that place, again the bird came very near to my head and went like this. This time I got up looked at the bird, looked at where it might have come and in which direction it went. I know exactly what happened now. And now I know what it wants to say. It wants to say, this is my territory, don't come nearby. I don't think it is personally hostile to me. I have not done anything. But it wants to say, this is my territory and don't come. It is giving me a warning. Okay, then I can choose. But if I have to go that route, definitely, maybe we'll carry a stick and then turn like this, and then pass through it, and after that, I'll walk normally. It means I know, or I have options not to go that side or to go that side, taking a stick. And definitely I will be less scared now, but there will be fear. Is this clear? Now come to the topic. Point is like this. So, where are we? That is, even without consciousness, number one, even without consciousness, many things go non-consciously. Many things of mind go non-consciously. That is the first thing. And many life forms don't have consciousness. Many life forms go by non-consciousness only. That is, they have the emotion of fear and they avoid. That's all. Emotion of fear and they avoid. Because memory enables them to avoid what causes that fear. That is not called fear, that's okay, emotion of fear. So non-consciously, many life forms move. Okay, non-consciously, many life forms move. How do we move? Many things in us are done non-consciously, but we also have consciousness. Okay, and what did consciousness, how did consciousness help me in this example? If I didn't have consciousness, then I experience terror, frightened, then I will avoid that place. It will be recorded in memory and I will avoid. But because of consciousness, I felt it, okay, consciousness, which it means brainstem data, felt it, and now I named it, felt, named, and after feeling and naming, I applied reason, which means consciousness enables non-automatic or more flexible or more intelligent responses to environment. Non-consciously, we respond in a particular way, but what consciousness does is that it brings or it enables more intelligent responses. Some studies are made, for example, something is about to hit the eye. Do you know? First we blink. So first data reaches the eye. First data. And next we blink. And next we know that we blinked. See, that is it. We didn't blink consciously. We blinked first. Then we are conscious of the blinking. Then we reason, okay, something is about to come, and that is why I blinked. Which means we respond non-consciously as well as consciously. So, most of it is going on non-conscious level. A part of it enters the conscious level, and when something enters the conscious level, then it can be subjected to enormous cortex activity of reasoning. So what is consciousness? Consciousness is the source of flexibility. Consciousness is the source of non-automatic responses. And consciousness is the source of manipulation of the environment. Now I can go without fear or with less fear, because I know precisely what the nature of the problem is. So many life forms did not have consciousness. They were very primitive. Some had consciousness. Birds definitely are conscious. But then the difference between a bird and a human being is that birds have very small brain. So though they are conscious, they cannot store more data and they cannot manipulate, they can't use tools. So human being, non-conscious, conscious, highly evolved cortex brain explosion took place here in evolution. And that enabled manipulation of the environment, creation of tools, language, many things. But remember, we do many things non-consciously. Is this clear? So non-conscious, conscious, cortex. Okay. Now, next. Now, we are looking at consciousness differently now. Feelings. And second last, the so-called meanness. Okay. Now, we said consciousness is coordination. But now I want to say this coordination is feelings-based coordination. Call it pain. This is a completely, I am covering a new point now, and which is essential. It is pain-based coordination. How? Number one. So I am going like this. Then I sensed world like this. But why should I sense only that and not many other things? Because that is the danger. I sense danger. Mind also operates that way. Sensation of danger. Both mind and consciousness are pain-based systems. Pain-based. So why should I sense only that? Because it is threatening. So we don't take the entire sensory data. We take that sensory data that can threaten us or that can give pleasure. In a crowd, lot of noise, but somebody calls our name, we recognize. Pleasure based or pain based, which means senses themselves operate on pleasure pain principle, selectivity, and then only that is stored, charged images. Processed. So many things are going on around me, why should I take only this? Because it can hurt. So I gathered the data from pain point of view, stored the data from pain point of view, processed the data from pain point of view, analyzed it from pain point of view, worked out solutions from pain point of view. So mind is geared towards pain reduction. That is why the images are not neutral, these are charged images. The charged with pleasure pain system. And in fact, it is not true that the data comes from the senses and then the brain recognizes. It is like that the brain will always be looking out for possible threats. Once you are afraid of this bird hit, then when you are going, then you think, okay, it's likely, then it can. So brain is actively looking out for threat. These are hallucinations. Hallucination is something that is not real. But then this hallucination is a part of normal sensory process. When it goes beyond, then it can be considered a disease. Brain anticipates threat. So the point I am trying to make is that this entire processing from data seeking, data registration, data manipulation is from the point of view of pain reduction of the life form. Okay. Now, pain reduction is taking place on the entire mind. Mind is working on pleasure pain, but some part of the mind, zoop, it is coming like this as consciousness. So, what is consciousness? Pleasure pain awareness. Pleasure pain awareness. This pleasure pain awareness is coming out as meanness. Wow. Of course, here you can ask, how is pleasure pain related to meanness? How are feelings related to meanness? I can't explain, but I can show certain analogies to explain why it can't be explained. I am not saying it can't be explained because I know it and you don't know it. It is not like that. It cannot be explained in a very real sense. For example, take vision. What is vision? Sensory stimulation, eye. But how is seeing? What is seeing? Seeing can't be explained from stimulation. Seeing is something different. Hearing. What is hearing? It is all air vibrations. How vibrations in air columns are producing the sound through ear. How electromagnetic spectrum producing vision through eye. In the same way, pleasure pain system through brain stem is producing this meanness. Why I am giving those examples is that something new emerges. What is newly emergent cannot be explained from the previous. So that is to say, meanness is no exception. Similar things are there everywhere. Two stones hit will produce fire. But how is fire coming from the stones? Of course, there are other ingredients. But how those ingredients coming? How from non-life, life is coming? How some molecules produce life? So something emerges, and when there is some new thing is emerging, there is a huge explanatory gap. You can't explain because it is something new. On TV you see pixels, but how is dance produced from pixels? How is dance coming from pixels? Dance is something new. But without pixels there is no dance. Without air vibrations there is no sound. Without electromagnetic spectrum and eye there is no vision. Like that, without these feelings, meanness is not there. And remember, what are these feelings? Feelings are about life form, my pain, my pleasure, my fear, my safety, all clubbed meanness. So what is consciousness? Consciousness is that part of mind that makes us aware of. And when the mind is nothing but all kinds of emotions, plus minus system combined is emerging like meanness. So that is what consciousness is. And next, if this is consciousness, then maybe we'll do it some other topic. After few days we'll explore, can robots feel? Because scientists want to bring consciousness to robots. Their thing is understandable. Why? Because we have seen how consciousness among humans is bringing flexibility, processing, source of intelligence. Robots don't have consciousness, but they have in a way intelligence. So if we agree that the consciousness is enabler of intelligence, so scientists think, should we bring consciousness to robots? Can we bring like that? So we will look into the issue of artificial intelligence after a few days in the next class. But that we are doing because that is one way or a more clearer way of looking at consciousness. Again, not that we are interested in robotics, but that is one way of looking at consciousness. And that also tells us how so much of discussion on consciousness in robots is so hopelessly off the mark. Thank you.